Good morning, everybody. Wee Paddy from across the shuck. How's my little potato chips this morning? I hope yous are all doing well. I am. I'm doing very well. I'm knocking this wee video out today. This is Friday afternoon. My grandchildren and my daughter are coming down for the weekend again, so don't know when I'm going to get to make another one because it's going to be hectic down here at the caravan, but in a really nice way. And again, I'm enjoying every minute of it. We missed them for so long, so it's just a joy. So let's get on to it. You've seen the title. I haven't even, as usual, thought about it. It's going to be so you think you can't afford a custom or something like that. And the truth is that I'm sorry, if you're in the knife collecting game or if you're a lover of knives, you can afford a custom. Now, I wouldn't have thought so if you'd asked me this 6 months ago, until I met this gentleman, a.harrison. You've seen me do the video on this. He made me this knife, and this knife was under £100 for a custom knife. Handmade. Now, what is a custom knife? I'm just going to say, to me, a custom knife is handmade by a person from start to finish. That's what I call a custom knife. Now, if they use different bits of machinery, absolutely fine. Doesn't bother me. But as long as it's handmade, fit and finished by hand by that person, to me, that's a custom knife. I got this one from Ashley. This was the first one. Slick Slicers put me in contact with them. And I got this made for me. It's in a beautiful wood handle. A dark wood of some sort, cookable. I'm not sure what it is, but it's a beautiful dark wood. You see, I should find all these things out, shouldn't I? I am such a bad reviewer, but it is beautiful wood. It's a beautiful spear point. You can see by this knife, this is a user. It's got about a 7 pull, so it's nice and strong for a working knife. I like a nice 7 pull for a working knife. Doesn't have to be, but that's my choice. About a 7 pull, 6.5, 7, absolutely beautiful. This knife, this is Ashley's signature. Now, again, just a little bit of background. I'm not going to go into huge detail, but Ashley and his father own Arthur Wright knives. Ashley makes the knives for Arthur Wright. He also does this on a sideline. He is perfecting his skills further, more further than the range maybe that Arthur Wright would go to. So he is making different sorts of knives himself in his spare time. So this is look, a custom knives, a lot of custom knife makers you have to wait years for. Ashley's not that far behind, but he has his other side of the job is looking after Arthur Wright knives. a.harrison knives is his own little brand that he's working on. And when I say he's perfecting his talent, there's nothing wrong with his talent in my eyes now, but he's enjoying making knives. Now, if you get on his waiting list, just contact him by Instagram. I'll leave that down below, or go to Instagram, converse with him. You might have to wait 3, 4, 5, 6 months, depending on what he's got. But for the price of under £100 for a handmade knife, 01 tool steel, choice of handles. He'll do file work for you if you want file work done. And it's a working knife. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to use it as a working knife. You can have this as your bestie and look after it. I wanted this to be a work knife that I could use because it was my first knife from somebody, and I wanted to make sure he made a knife that works. Now, bearing in mind, I didn't know anything about him. I've since learned his knives don't half work. This is a joy. It's about a 3.5-inch closed knife, which is how you always measure a folding knife. It's the measure of the height of the knife when it's closed. It's got a blade that's just under 3 inches from tip to the bolster, so it's UK legal completely. It's a slip joint, as I said, and that is some thumping at no blade wrap at all. At all. No blade wrap whatsoever. Beautiful, beautiful knife. Now, I'm going to bring something out now that I just got this weekend, and I love this knife. It's another custom knife, but it's probably about 3 times the price of this. And it's this one here. I got it the weekend. The first time I slapped the blade down, there was blade wrap. I despise blade wrap. I don't know how a custom maker can let a knife go out of his hands without checking if it's got blade wrap. So I spent about an hour and a half yesterday reprofiling it, and I have now got a nice edge on it. It was about here, just a huge big blade wrap, where obviously with the shape of this, it hits this pin here and just left a hell of a dent. So I am not, do you see how gingerly I put that down? I'm not even checking. I took quite a lot of steel off it, and I don't want to take any more because it's a custom. I've now got a functional knife. It's beautiful. But we'll get to that. I'll do a review of that shortly. Let's get back to Ashley. That's a knife that most people are not going to want to spend the money on. I do it because this is my hobby, and I've spent 4 years building up a selection of knives. I've sold most of my folding knives to be able to afford to buy knives of this caliber. And again, this is a custom knife under £100. Beautiful knife. And there's nothing more I can say. That is a real functional working knife, but it looks a treat. As I'm sure you've seen on my Instagram or anywhere else, this is my second knife, and by no means my last knife from Ashley. Under £100. Custom knife. I contacted Ashley again and spoke to him. Now I bought these. These are not knives that he's given me, and I've not been asked by him to do any reviews whatsoever. This is just somebody. Look, I couldn't barter with somebody for the prices that he's charging for these knives because he enjoys making knives. And that's why he's doing it. It's not a money venture. He's trying to expand his knowledge in knife making. And I just, got to get behind. You've got to get, and it's a UK man. It's a UK man. All I said to him is, I want a knife. I want a really broad sheep's foot, easy open, where the blade tang, keep it as tight as you could to the knife, which he'd done. I wanted a shield, the federal shield on it, and blue bone. It was going to be green or jig bone, but it's blue bone is what he's doing at the minute. He hasn't got time to do the jig bone because that would be done by hand, and he hasn't got time for it. But he dyed this. This is just ordinary white bone, and he dyed it, and you can see by the dye, it is just literally to die for. The hafting on this knife is second to none. There's not a gap. This shield, I watched him on Instagram. He put a video up of him doing the shield by hand, digging into this bone to get the shield fitted. It was, I didn't even know it was my knife when I was watching. I commented on how talented he was, and then I found out it was my knife he was doing. It's beautiful. It is stunning. It's a nice wide base to this knife, and a 3.5-inch knife again, like that one, under 3-inch blade, completely UK legal. And when I said to him, I gave him that, and I said, actually, you just make the knife. There's what I would like. You make the knife. And I can't tell you how much he's knocked it out of the park. Look, do you want to know something? This is one of them things, under £100, handmade by somebody from start to finish, and he doesn't use a lot of, these fancy CNC machines. This is actually doing the work. And I just can't tell you how beautiful it is. Really solid knife, obviously because it's bone, and it's a good sturdy blade, but that's what I call a nice fat sheep's foot. I think you'll have to agree. That is a beautiful fat sheep's foot. It's just gorgeous. Absolutely. And it's really nice and thin behind the edge. It was well ground when it came to me. I stropped it. That's the only thing I've done with it. It's just stunning. And this knife, when I grab this knife in hand, right, my third finger goes in here, the easy opening notch, and I am locked solid in this knife. Medium, large hands. I am locked solid. It's just a little extra thing because you can't you can't judge for that. But just where he has put it, it is in the perfect place for an easy opening. Again, this is about a 7 pull. It's a cam tang. Look at that there. Beautiful. Really lovely deep nail nick. So when you get here and you pinch it open, it is a real nice, about a 6.5, 7 again. Very similar to the other one, which is perfect. And this is the sort of custom, and I'm going to use it. To me, this is as fancy as any custom knife you want, but it's a user for me. It's a user. So would you call that a Barlow? I think I would, to be honest with you. The big bolster makes that a Barlow. To me. Let me know what you think down below. I know it should be a third, but there's lots of things should be that are not. But it's just, you know, it is just a beautiful, beautiful knife. And look, I love this one, and I have used it. I use it for everything. Eat mistakes, anything at all, cutting whatever. I have no fear. It is just a work knife. This is just beyond. It's beyond. Like, I want to try to think of it. Just you can keep saying something's beautiful and it's gorgeous, but functionally, this knife, look at that blade stock. There's a good thick blade stock. The mating up, everything about it. There's not, I can't tell you, there's not even a slight movement in either of these two knives. It's just, and that hafting all the way around is just beautiful. Look at the termination. Every little bit of detail, and I'm going to keep saying it, for under £100. Now, obviously, if you're going to go for fancy material and all, the prices will go up. You'll sort that out with Ashley. But what he calls basic, what I call extremely high-end custom knives, because I have custom knives that, I'm sorry, yes, it's a nice knife and it's really well finished, but the price difference between this and this is not justifiable unless you're a knife collector like me. That's the only sort of person who's going to be, you know, that sort of... Here's what I'm going to put it against. Let me just tell you. Benchmade proper. There you go. Fantastic little work knife. Modern, traditional. The pull is terrible. It's just, that's a fact. It's just terrible. The lock bar strength is just terrible. I love this knife, but this is about 140. Well, sorry, this actual one here is about £200. So it's over double the price of this. And which would I buy if I had the choice, or have I seen in a shop? Well, I'm sorry, I'll buy this. 01 Tool Steel S30V, couldn't give a monkey's. This will do everything in my day that I wanted to do. I can strop it and it'll come straight back at the end of the day. So that's what you're up against. You know, if you want to go modern, that's what you're going to buy. That's got a quality. Quality's nowhere near this. It's just nowhere near. I'm sorry. It's nowhere near. That is the most beautiful. And it's still like a little bit of a hollow ground in there, ever so slightly, which makes it an excellent cutter. And I love this, the little logo in here. I just think it is classy. But that shield is just, this is my favourite Barlow in my collection, bar none. It's dead simple. That is one gorgeous. And I know I'm swooning and you're going to think, oh no, he's trying to lick Ashley's bottom. But I'm not. I like him. He's a really nice man. I spoke to him. I don't need to. He's a genuinely nice man who makes a fantastic product at a price that is so cheap. Get in now while you can. If you have to wait 3-6 months, just don't hassle him. He'll tell you himself, it'll come when it comes, and that's it. He's not asking you for, anything drastic. He's just, this is his hobby. He makes knives for Arthur Wright, which is the company him and his father own. It's a business, so he makes these in his spare time. That's it. Ashley, I cannot thank you enough. Look, I put pictures up on Instagram and my Facebook groups. This has not been out of my pocket since I got it. That other fancy pants one at over three times the price, hasn't been in my pocket yet because I can't get this one out. I love it. Over the moon. And I want other people. I've got my wee flag up there. This is a UK knife maker. And he will post anywhere in the world. But just, you might have to wait a few months. And please don't hassle him because he's a busy man. So if you know that before you start, save up save £100. Don't buy your 3 knives at 30 odd pound for the next 6 months. Save up and then order a knife off Ashley. You'll not regret it. I can't stress that enough. You'll not regret it. I just think this is beautiful. And I put it in my little leather slip, which I've lost now. What have I done with my leather slip? Don't know. I have a lovely little blue leather slip that I put it in and carry it. And it's just gorgeous. So there we go. Oh, here, I tell you what, I put in a, here's another, I'm just going to give him a plug. This is Swarf pens. I bought this pen. He mills these himself. This one's in aluminium, but he does them in steel and copper and brass. Beautiful little fidget toy. Swarf pens on Instagram. I'll put it down below in the description. But really, really worth it. Another UK maker. And that's what I'm really trying to boost this year. The Fancy Pants one's American. So it's not as if I'm not buying other knives. But this year I really want to push British makers. And again, to everybody yesterday who went and bought out the shop again at the Bakewell Cook Shop, thank you so much. I know they appreciate it. It's a Mama's and Papa's store, as they call it in the US. It's a, it's just a great little store with lovely people who I just love promoting for. Hopefully they'll let us know again when they get another batch in. Because I know there was so many people disappointed. But they're going to keep giving me the information and let me know when they're up. Yous will be the first to get in on it. So there's 2 knife companies. And Dreadnought Forge who makes fixed blades. There's another one. We're getting there. And I'm getting up. I have a knife being made by Steve Cocker, who's another UK knife maker. I can't wait to get his. It's in lovely green bone, jigged bone, and jigged by hand by him. So excited, I can't tell you. Thank you very much for watching. Sorry I ranted on there like an excited schoolboy. But the truth is, I am like an excited schoolboy. Because when you can pay £100 for something like this, or under £100 for something like this, it blows my mind away. That somebody can be that talented and only charge that amount. Because let me tell you, if I made that, you wouldn't get it off me for £100. Take care, everybody. Paddy's away. Thank you very much indeed. Subs, you are the best. Thank you so much for your support. Bye-bye now.